What's up, guys? As always and forever, I'm Vincent Rojas from Red Reviews, bringing you another epic movie review. Last Monday, I reviewed Oppenheimer and mentioned how it was one half of the biggest movie event of the year. Well, today I'm reviewing the other half of that event, Barbie. That movie event, dubbed Barbenheimer by the internet, happened over a month ago, but I just had to review both movies no matter how late this review was. I did the Barbenheimer double feature when I was on vacation in Spain this past summer, and since I'm not a psychopath, I saw Oppenheimer first and Barbie second, like any sane person would. Funnily enough, Oppenheimer and Barbie actually did not come out on the same day over in Spain. Oppenheimer came out on July 20th and Barbie came out on July 21st over there, so Oppenheimer came out a day before it came out here in the USA, and Barbie just came out the same day as it did over here. As I stated in my Oppenheimer video, I rewatched it here in the USA, and I actually did the same thing with Barbie yesterday. So on the first viewing, I did the Barbenheimer, and when I rewatched them, I saw them on separate days. I rewatched Barbie not because the plot was confusing or there were too many names to remember or anything, but because I was not about to review a movie that I'd only seen once over a month ago. Anyway, on with the review. So Barbie is co-written and directed by Greta Gerwig, who has previously directed Nights and Weekends, Lady Bird, and Little Women, and has been a writer for all of those movies. She co-writes this movie with Noah Baumbach, who has previously co-written films with Greta Gerwig such as Frances Ha and Mistress America. This movie stars Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, America Ferrera, Kate McKinnon, Issa Rhea Perlman, Will Ferrell, Simu and Michael Cera. It also features a few surprise cameos which are really cool to see. Or not see. If you've seen the movie, you might know what I'm talking about, but you might not, because maybe this joke is really confusing and doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and maybe I shouldn't include it in the video. Anyway, in this movie, stereotypical Barbie, played by Margot Robbie, is living a great life every day until one day things start to go wrong. Stereotypical Barbie must then go on a journey with Ken to the real world to fix things. From the first image released of this movie, everyone was immediately like, yup, Margot Robbie as Barbie is one of those perfect castings. I can't really picture anyone else playing stereotypical Barbie. She is perfect in this role, and the movie's narration even makes fun of how perfect Margot Robbie looks in the movie by name-dropping her, which was a pretty funny scene. Ryan Gosling is also such a scene stealer in this movie as Ken. He was by far my favorite character and is giving this role so much life and energy that it was infectious. Ken is a guy who's constantly trying to get Barbie's attention in any way he can and is really obsessed with her, and this makes for some really fun scenes as well as a really good character arc, which was equal parts hilarious and absurd, and surprisingly tender. He is said to be superfluous to Barbie in this movie, and him realizing he can be just Ken was amazing to witness. Will Ferrell plays himself as the Mattel CEO, and some people I've seen online have said that they have a problem with his inclusion in the film, but I didn't ever really feel like his inclusion in the film took away from my enjoyment. I thought he was actually included in just the right number of scenes to make his inclusion fun and brief, and I never felt he overstayed his welcome. He is also perfect casting, in my opinion, and he has some of the best lines in the movie. Michael Cera as Alan is a standout in this movie. He's an actual Barbie product who never got a second iteration, but he's Ken's best friend,
and all Ken's clothes fit him.
Enough said. Overall, it's obvious that everyone is having a ton of fun with this movie, and that just brings a lot of energy and joy to it. One issue I had with the cast was Sasha, the daughter of America Ferrera's character. By the way, America Ferrera's character in this movie is called Gloria, but I'm pretty sure the movie never actually told the audience her name. I had to look up her role to get that name. Sasha doesn't really have anything to do in this story, and that was a bit of a shame. Her inclusion in this movie is pretty much exclusively for Gloria to have a monologue about what it means to be a mother in this day and age, and what it means to be a woman in general. This leads into one of the bigger controversies of the movie, that being the heavy-handed feminism. As I said in my review for The Flash, I will try to stay as far away from controversy as possible with my videos, and I will do that with this movie as well. But the feminist messages are undeniably extremely on the nose, to the point that the power of women, or lack thereof, and the patriarchy are central plot devices in this movie. I can definitely see a lot of people getting upset over this, and it is definitely something to keep in mind if you're going to go see this movie. In my Oppenheimer review, I said that I doubted I'm convincing anyone to go see that movie since it's been over a month since its release, and it was one of the biggest films of the year, so everyone who wanted to see it probably already did. I feel the same way about Barbie. I'm most likely not convincing a single person to go see this movie because everyone who wanted to most likely already did, but I just want to get these thoughts out anyway. The humor in this movie is also something I can see people getting turned off about. It worked like magic in my first viewing in Spain, and my audience was cracking the heck up with almost every single joke. There was one joke in particular that made me crack up both times I saw it, involving someone pronouncing a word in Spanish. It was hard to tell if the audience liked the jokes the second time I saw this movie because there were less than 10 people in the entire theater, which was actually really nice. But I can tell not every joke landed with that audience. A large quantity of the jokes are centered around feminism, which may be why not every joke lands with every audience. However, a lot of the jokes in this movie made me laugh pretty hard both times I saw the movie, so take that as you will. A lot of the humor is very quirky, but it worked pretty well for me. From the 2001 A Space Odyssey style opening to pretty much the entire film, there is narration by Helen Mirren, and this narration as well was quite funny in my opinion, especially that line I mentioned earlier where she name drops Margot Robbie. There is one scene in this movie that really stood out to me as insanely obvious product placement for Chevrolet. There's a car chase where all of the cars are Chevys, and the way it's shot made me almost swear I was watching a commercial for Chevy. I really loved my experience with this movie both times I've seen it. It was delightfully quirky and weird, and it was just really cool to see a movie like this. I've never seen a movie quite like this one, and this kind of movie just doesn't get made anymore. Above all else, it feels like Greta Gerwig was given complete control to do whatever she wanted with this film, and I love it for that reason. I mean, there's a crazy chase scene with the Mattel CEO and his employees that's so obviously choreographed that the obviousness of the choreography is what makes it such a fun chase scene. Alright, now it's time for some final things I liked. Firstly, the I'm Just Ken scene is one of my favorite scenes I've seen in any movie all year long. The epic fight between all of the Kens is just incredible, and the choreography is perfection. The rivalry between Ryan Gosling and Simu Liu's Kens is just so awesome. I really like how a lot of the music choices reflect the characters' emotions throughout the movie. It's a really small detail, but it's one that I really like nonetheless. Also, the sets in this movie are incredible. It's so crazy to see all these Barbie products perfectly brought into a life-size format, and it must have taken so long to do something like that. There's a scene that's recreated a few times in the movie where the characters have to go on a journey through wildly different locations, and this whole sequence was just so wacky and wild and visually spectacular every time it happened throughout the movie. Finally, it was super cool to see all of the weird, discontinued Barbie figures in this movie, which are all actual Barbie products, by the way. Pregnant Barbie and Sugar Daddy Ken among them. Overall, this movie was weird and crazy and awesome, and also weird, and I really liked it. I know I said words like cool and crazy and quirky and weird and awesome a lot throughout this review, but I really can't stress how sick it is that this movie got made. Again, these kinds of movies don't really get made anymore. As the trailer said, if you love Barbie, this movie's for you, and if you hate Barbie, this movie's for you. Again, I'm probably not convincing anyone to go see it since everyone already has, but I don't mind. I just really like talking movies. As I said in my previous video, expect reviews a bit more frequently in the coming weeks since I'm trying to catch up on a lot of films I didn't have the time to review before. Thank you so much for watching, and go have a nice day, what's left of it. Peace.